Were there any near misses or behind the scenes stories while filming? My publicist isn't yelling at me yet. So, hi, I'm Channing Tatum, and I'm going to take 10 with Deadline. We all like going back in time and imagining how things could have gone differently. Like, what if I made different choices? Would I have ended up here?
It's been 6 months and still no leads on the whereabouts of the escaped convict known as the Roofman.
Can I describe my character in Roofman? My character in Roofman is Jeffrey Allen Manchester. He was famous in certain parts of America, but mainly North Carolina, that he robbed about 45 McDonald's, but he only got caught for one. And he in my opinion, not fairly sentenced to 45 years in prison for robbing one McDonald's. The technicality that they got him on was that he moved 3 people that were being robbed in the McDonald's, the employees. He moved them to the freezer, and they got him for 3 counts of kidnapping, I guess, so they really stuck it to him. When he went to prison for that crime, he wasn't going to get a second chance. He was going to be in there for 45 years, and he decided to give himself a second chance, and he broke out of prison. And he didn't just run as far and fast as he possibly could away from the prison. He ended up hiding in a Toys R Us and in the walls and in the roof for about 6 months. And that is where our story begins. What was my first reaction when I heard Jeffrey's story and read the script? Well, Derek Cianfrance is the director and one of the writers. Kurt Gunn is the other writer. I met Derek 20 years ago. My very first, serious acting roles in a movie called Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. And it went to Sundance, did really well, and Derek offered me Blue Valentine, which is an amazing movie. And I turned it down like an idiot. I remember the moment because I had just started acting and I really didn't know what I was doing. And I read the script and it was just so sad. It was like one of the saddest, most heartbreaking, scripts that I had really ever read to that point. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't have the confidence in my, craft at the time to be able to pull that off. And I should have jumped off the cliff with him, but I didn't. But I think that movie was always supposed to be Ryan's. He's such a brilliant actor. I'm such a fan of his, so I think it was all meant to be. And this movie, I think, was the reason why me and Derek now, and I think where I'm at now, I guess with my, again, quote-unquote craft, I think I was ready. I was really ready. I had met him 19 years after that first meeting at Sundance. And I went for a really long walk with him, like 4 hours or 5 hours or something like that. We just talked about everything. We didn't talk about any specific project. I think we got ice cream, we got food. I mean, we literally just talked about life, our kids, the state of the world, politics. 9 months later, I get a call out of the blue that he had written a script for me. And I was like, what? He didn't talk to me about any script when we met. And yet I read the script, obviously, because I would have done anything. I would have done absolutely any part and any script and anything. And from now on, also, whatever he sends me, I'll play any part. I'll play cop number 2. I don't care. The story of Jeffrey, the Roofman, it seemed like it was fiction. But I know Derek, and I know Derek's movies, and is obsessed with reality. He's obsessed with making things real and visceral. And I couldn't believe that one of my favorite filmmakers had wrote a script for me. That was it. Did I talk to Jeffrey a lot? And what were those conversations like? Derek asked me if I wanted to talk to him. Well, I was like, I think I have to talk to him. I put in all my forms to the state to go and actually meet him at prison. And I just didn't hear anything from them for a long time. And then I finally got clearance. I talked to him for every day for almost two months on the phone. I didn't know who was gonna pick up the phone on that first phone call. He really shocked me. You project so much about people that go to prison or that have done crimes, and I was just so shocked that he was as warm, and I was just interested in this person, and this person was interested in me. He loves movies. He's a huge Spielberg fan. In the movie, there's Spider-Man a lot in my little hideout that I've made inside of the walls of Toys R Us, and he loves Spider-Man. But I think one of the biggest discoveries for me was just how unbelievably optimistic he was. He spent 9 years in solitary confinement. And I don't know how you don't lose your mind, much less be able to keep some semblance of hope or faith or optimism. And he has all these dreams. He definitely, has all the regrets that you can imagine. But I asked him what he wanted to do when he got out. And this one really, I think, kind of was probably like the last linchpin that I needed to really understand Jeff. And he's like, I don't know if they'll ever let me, but because I'm a felon, but I would love to adopt. He's like, I would really like a second chance at being a father. He knows that he screwed up that. I think he really is sorry about it. He was a very different person when all this was taking place than I think he is now. And I really hope he gets that opportunity. I truly found myself just genuinely liking this human. And knowing that he's done, the things that he's done, I still really, really have a lot of hope for him. How did you physically and mentally prepare? Have you had any roof scaling practice? I've only had about 4 photos of Jeff, but I did know he was pretty lean, and so I wanted to kind of lean down. You do all your actor stuff where you're like, yeah, he's had to be pretty athletic to, get on these roofs and to like get in holes and hide in places and whatever. So I didn't want to be some big hulky, like thick-necked, like gym head guy. And I had just done a movie that I was kind of fat dad bod. So that's like cheeseburgers and Domino's pizzas and Coors Lights for about a month and a half, and that got me up to about 240 real quick, and I can put it on really quick, and I used to be able to take it off really quickly, and now it doesn't happen so quickly anymore. But in about 3.5 months, I took off about 65 pounds, almost 65 to 70 pounds. I got down in the beginning of shooting to like 180, and then by the end, or by the kind of the middle, I got to about 172 is about as low as I think I got. There was a moment on set, I think about 2/3 of the way through, that Mariella, the first AD, was just like, that's it, get him a sandwich. I can't watch this anymore. You're not allowed to lose any more weight. We're done. And if you know her, you don't say no to her. And I did. I had a cheeseburger that day, and it was great. Have I had any roof scaling practice? I, fortunately or unfortunately, have climbed so many things in my life. I've climbed telephone towers. I don't know why. I really like high places. I'm not like a rock climber, weirdly. I like just being in high places. I'll climb anything. Probably the last craziest thing I climbed was a Spider-Man billboard on La Cienega, walking home from a bar with my buddy Reed. I think it was the first Spider-Man, actually. No, it wasn't the first Spider-Man. It had to be the second Spider-Man, I guess. I was just like, I want to see that movie. I jumped the fence, and then I scaled the billboard, and then we sat up there for a little while, and that was it. Jeffrey survives on peanut M&Ms for ages. What would be your snack of choice if you were trapped in a store? If it had to be a Toys R Us and like had to be like candy or whatever in a Toys R Us, I would probably pick like Reese's Cups. I think I'd go for the nutritional value of peanut butter, Reese's Cups. Were there any near misses or behind the scenes stories while filming? Near misses. Derek likes everything to be real. So I thought I was just dropping through the roof. And this is towards the end of the movie where breaking into a pawn shop to get a gun. And I cut a hole in basically the wrong side of the roof, and I drop in on the wrong side of the wall of the pawn shop. So now I'm in like a tanning sort of business. I just thought I was going to drop down like I have in some other scenes, and he's like, no, I feel like this is like a desperate part of the movie. I feel like this is like a fall. And I was like, oh, okay, well, how are we going to do that? We haven't really prepped that at all. And he's like, well, it's not, you just figure it out. And at this point, Derek really trusted me as far as like my physicality, and like I do like to do my own stunts, and as much as they'll let me do, I'm not going to go try to fly a helicopter because I don't know how to do that, but falls and stuff like that and hitting the ground, I'm pretty decent at. So I just held on to about like a pole for about 9 feet off the ground, and there was a tanning bed there, and you just let go. And you just let go. And I'm pissed. I'm not going to call it a miss. I'm going to call it a pissed, because Derek missed the shot. I broke the tanning bed with my back. Happy I didn't break my back. And then I bounced onto the floor, and he was on the wrong lens. So you can't even really see the hit. I was like, you want to get a bigger lens? You want to get a wider lens on this next one? He's like, well, we can't do it again because you broke the tanning bed. And I was like, okay. So I guess that one's in there. But that one was fun. There was a lot of shenanigans during the naked scene with Peter Dinklage. Thankfully, no near misses. But we didn't have a plan on how to film that, and I didn't know we were going to be filming it kind of in a oneer. So you see stuff, And after we filmed that, Derek was like, how do you want me to, handle the stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you want to handle the stuff? I was like, we don't want to like an X-rated, I just let him handle what was right for the scene. So I don't know what he did, if he painted stuff out or what. He's like, do you want me to blur it? And I'm like, no, that's weird. Don't blur it. That's how it feels like I don't know. I was like, that feels weird. It's going to take you out of the movie. And he's like, okay, I'll figure it out. My publicist isn't yelling at me yet. So I didn't say anything bad. Okay. Jeffrey is harmless. If you could get away with a crime where no one gets hurt, what would it be? This is a hard one. A crime. I'm gonna go Fight Club on this one. I'd erase everybody's debt. So I would just be like, boop, delete, delete, like whatever, and then just disappear. Anyway, all right. You have Avengers Doomsday coming out next year. Any fun stories from that set or hanging out with the cast? I cannot tell you about the cast or hanging out with them. You know that I can't do that. But there are a lot of them. So I enjoyed hanging out with all of them. Being on that set is, not everybody knows like my journey with Gambit. It wasn't my favorite character growing up. I was the kid throwing, playing cards at my friends in the living room when I was like in 3rd grade. And so like, that is literally my guy. Like, I love him so much. I love him for so many reasons. And I'm just glad that Ryan gave me a chance to actually play him and show the world what I saw in him. And to get to play him again now is even just more delicious than I can even describe. And in a completely different kind of movie, in a way. The Russos, I think, make a very different movie than Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds. And he's still going to be the Cajun, he's still going to be the raging Cajun he is. He was the most real out of all of the X-Men to me. He liked women, he smoked, he drank. His moral compass was very gray. He was never going to be a villain. He didn't have the heart to be a villain, but he wasn't exactly a hero. And I think that's very human. This is Derek Cianfrance, the director of Roofman's line. He's like, I've never met a hero and I've never met a villain. I've just met humans, so I have stolen that. And that's why I love Gambit, and I hope you do as well. And thank you for listening to my Take 10 with Deadline.